Lesson 38. There is nothing my holiness cannot do. Your holiness reverses all the laws of the world. It is beyond every restriction of time, space, distance, and limits of any kind. Your holiness is totally unlimited in its power because it establishes you as a son of God and one with the mind of his Creator. Through your holiness, the power of God is made manifest. Through your holiness, the power of God is made available, and there is nothing the power of God cannot do. Your holiness, then, can remove all pain, can end all sorrow, and can solve all problems. It can do so in connection with yourself and with anyone else. It is equal in its power to help anyone, because it is equal in its power to save anyone. If you are holy, so is everything God created. You are holy because all things he created are holy, and all things he created are holy because you are. In today's exercises, we will apply the power of your holiness to all problems, difficulties, or suffering in any form that you happen to think of, in yourself or in someone else. We will make no distinctions, because there are no distinctions. In the 4 longer practice periods, each preferably to last a full 5 minutes, repeat the idea for today, close your eyes, and then search your mind for any sense of loss or unhappiness of any kind, as you see it. Try to make as little distinction as possible between a situation that is difficult for you and one that is difficult for someone else. Identify the situation specifically and also the name of the person concerned. Use this form in applying the idea for today. In the situation involving blank in which I see myself, there is nothing that my holiness cannot do. In the situation involving blank in which blank sees himself, there is nothing my holiness cannot do. From time to time, you may want to vary this procedure and add some relevant thoughts of your own. You might like, for example, to include thoughts such as, "There is nothing my holiness cannot do because the power of God lies in it." Introduce whatever variations appeal to you, but keep the exercises focused on the theme. There is nothing my holiness cannot do. The purpose of today's exercises is to begin to instill in you a sense that you have dominion over all things because of what you are. In the frequent shorter applications, apply the idea in its original form unless a specific problem concerning you or someone else arises or comes to mind. In that event, use the more specific form in applying the idea to it. Lesson 38. There is nothing my holiness cannot do. A deep exploration. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that every limitation you've ever accepted, every law of the world that has governed your thinking, is not real. Time, space, distance, pain, sorrow, problems. What if they are not barriers at all? What if your holiness, your very being, has the power to reverse all of it? That's exactly what A Course in Miracles is saying in this lesson. It's not just a poetic statement, it's a radical shift in perception. The laws that your holiness reverses. Let's get real here. The lesson states, your holiness reverses all the laws of the world. That's an earth-shaking declaration. All laws. So let's name some. The law of gravity. Your holiness transcends physical laws. Ever heard of spontaneous healing, miraculous survival stories, the law of scarcity? Your holiness knows no lack. Abundance isn't about how much is in your bank account, it's about realizing that supply and need are already one. The law of time. Your holiness is beyond past, present, and future. Regrets, anxieties, fears, they dissolve in the presence of holiness. The law of distance. Connection isn't bound by miles. Have you ever thought of someone and then they suddenly called you? The law of suffering. Pain, physical, emotional, or mental, only exists in a mind that believes in separation. Your holiness undoes that belief. These are not just theoretical ideas. There have been countless stories of people who have defied logic and rewritten their reality, not by force, but by aligning with something higher. Dominion over all things, not just who you are, but what you are. One of the most striking lines in this lesson is, the purpose of today's exercises is to begin to instill in you a sense that you have dominion over all things because of what you are. Notice, it doesn't say who you are. It's not about your name, your job, your personality. This isn't about ego. It's about what you are, an extension of God, one with the mind of your Creator. Think of it like this. If an artist creates a masterpiece, does the painting exist separately from the artist's vision? Number it carries the essence of its creator. In the same way, you are not separate from the divine. You carry that same creative, limitless power, the power of your holiness, manifestation and availability. The lesson gives us a profound statement. Through your holiness, the power of God is made manifest. Through your holiness, the power of God is made available. Let's break that down. Manifestation. We talk a lot about manifestation in the world. People want to manifest money, success, relationships. But this isn't about getting things. It's about recognizing that you already have everything. Your holiness reveals reality. It doesn't need to create it. Availability. What good is power if you can't access it? This lesson is saying the power of God is not locked away in some distant realm. It's available to you right now. It's like standing in the middle of the ocean and thinking you're thirsty. The water is already surrounding you. You just have to drink, removing all pain, sorrow, and solving all problems. Your holiness then can remove all pain, can end all sorrow, and can solve all problems. All of them. Yes, all of them. But how? Pain, sorrow, and problems are not things. They are perceptions. They arise from the belief that you are separate from God, from others, from peace. Your holiness undoes that belief. Let's get concrete. Physical pain. Countless people have healed through the realization that they are not bound by the body. Miracles happen when the mind is freed from guilt and fear. Emotional sorrow, grief, loss, heartbreak. These all stem from the belief that something real has been taken from you. Your holiness reveals that nothing real can be lost. Life problems, money, relationships, career, purpose. These all shift when you stop seeing them as external forces controlling you. You have dominion over them. How far does this power extend? It can do so in connection with yourself and with anyone else. It is equal in its power to help anyone because it is equal in its power to save anyone. This is not just about your problems. Your holiness extends to everyone. That means the person you swore you'd never forgive, holy. The politician you despise, holy. The person who betrayed you, holy. The stranger suffering on the other side of the world, holy. It doesn't matter what your mind tells you about them. Holiness isn't personal, it's universal. How do you apply this? The lesson gives us a practice. Close your eyes. Search your mind for any loss, unhappiness, or difficulty. Identify the situation and person involved. Apply the idea. In the situation involving blank in which I see myself, there is nothing my holiness cannot do. In the situation involving blank in which blank sees himself, herself, there is nothing my holiness cannot do. You might be tempted to think, but this situation is different. This problem is too big. This pain is too deep. But that's exactly what the ego wants. It wants you to believe some things can't be healed. But there is no order of difficulty in miracles. The ultimate truth, dominion over the mind, dominion over the world. Everything we experience, pain, struggle, limitations, comes from the mind. The Course tells us, you believe that you are at the effect, that the world is doing it to you. But what if the world isn't happening to you? What if your mind is projecting the world? That changes everything. It means you are not powerless. You are not a victim. You have dominion. So what do you do with a mountain? You move it. Not by force, but by realizing it was never there. Final thought. The power of recognition. This lesson is not about gaining power. It's about recognizing the power that has always been there. It's about waking up from a dream of limitation and realizing there is nothing my holiness cannot do. Let that sink in. Let it shake you. Let it break the mental chains that tell you otherwise. Because the truth is, you are unlimited.